that's the impossible challenge. How do you design the perfect Excalibur?
I always wanted Excalibur to be quite subtle. I mean, we looked at a lot of Excaliburs that we've done over the years, and I'm quite familiar with them, and they always seem to be quite shiny and a bit blingy, and we want to go for something that was a lot more subtle and a bit more classy, I suppose.
I think you want to do one that's simpler.
Yeah, kind of stripped down, bare bones sword kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it speaks to Guy's world that he chooses a sword that isn't covered in gold finery and flowers and lightning bolts.
I think it just needs generic with a twist, is what I think.
Yeah.
And this is real size. That feels about right size.
We've got to make up our mind what that's going to look like.
We'd do the drawings, then we'd make the prototypes, we showed the guy.
I like the old Damascus skill, but I think what you sort of need is a bit of runes on the Damascus.
So that's the one that was on the drawing, and we weren't sure we liked it too much, so we...
I'm not sure if I like this.
Take it away, change it, remake the prototype. Or we could alter this one if you want and do something.
You like fill that gap in.
Don't you feel as though you're missing something?
Fill that over.
It does feel a bit like a Jules falling.
Yeah.
We can just smooth that over with a nice curve on the top. It's entirely up to you.
I think I'm feeling that.
Yeah. Then we got it to about 90% finished, and then we decided to throw that prototype out because no one was particularly happy with it. Then we started again.
Yeah, just the nail at the end is looking a bit primitive, isn't it?
All right, we'll smooth that over and we'll go with that.
You should just feel more ornate. Is it calm?
I sort of know what you mean. I think you just need something at the end there that should be a tad sexier.
And that was an ongoing process for weeks and weeks until we finally sort of got the final thing down about 4 days before we started shooting. Excalibur in scabbard.
It's a sword. It's a sword that you would use in a battle. It's a sword that feels like a realistic piece of hardware.
Smart that Guy wanted it to actually have a function.
I said both ends, 10 digits, round the blunt bit, give it a tug.
Other than denoting that the carrier of it was the actual king, you know, that was really the only significance of it, where we've been given it a sort of a real tangible power.
First weapon we make of every principle is we usually make it for real. You know, so it's a real metal item, and we'll then mould that to make, you know, the multiple repeats. I think we've made about 40 Excaliburs in total, so 10 of them being metal, 30 of them being, you know, rubber stunt fighting versions. So.
We've got hard rubbers, we've got soft rubbers as well. We've got kind of metal Excaliburs, some of which are sharpened, some of which aren't.
Every sword that we make a soft version of it, and a version that someone could roll around the floor on and not get hurt, and a version that you could swing past someone's face safely, and if it was to accidentally hit them, it wouldn't do any damage because it would bend.
The scabbard actually was supposed to have sort of magical powers as well.
I really like the scabbard that we made for it as well, because we deliberately went for a scabbard that was open-fronted because the blade was so nice. It's nice to always have it on show. Usually in the scabbard, it's hidden away. So we came up with a scabbard with an open front, so when it's on Charlie's back or on his side, you can always see Excalibur.
When he grabs it with both hands, it's a full connection, right? It's fully connected. It burns like it slows, everything slows down.
You know, one of the functions of it is that it can slow down time for the wielder, which is, of course, in a fighting scenario, incredibly useful if you're moving twice as fast as your adversaries.
I think that it's about the circuit of the energy with it. Then it's...
I think it's sort of a beautiful idea that it really only that energetic connection happens when both hands are on the sword.
It's like an electrical
like a current, so you connect it all the way through, then the current goes through the body.
Yeah.
And it's that, and then the visions come with it, and then it's like...
And so that energy will pass through one's body, but if there are energetic blocks caused by emotional trauma, that can block that energy.
It's like hard to hold.
And then we'll see that your arms are starting now, the smoke's going to start.
And it goes both Excalibur times.
Both, straight.
A little anecdote about Excalibur, one of the cool things about it is usually when you pull a sword out of a scabbard, it doesn't make any noise at all. We put a piece of metal in the scabbard, so as you pull it out, it actually makes that shing noise. According to the mythology, Excalibur had written on it, "Take me up, cast me away." So the set deck department came up with an actual runic language. We then translated that into "Take me up, cast me away," and etched it into the blade as the runes you see on the sword.
To make Excalibur sort of very exciting and have like a tangible use or significance, but also, as all great storytelling is, that gave a beautiful journey for Arthur through the film.
Excalibur's quite a major part of the story, so it's been featured quite heavily, and it's always a pleasure to see a nice glistening close-up of Excalibur.